I call this meeting to order at 7:36 p.m. We will now move into Section 2, swearing in. There is none. We'll now move into Section 3, roll call. For roll call, please click the yes button on your clickers. Okay, so for our roll call,
We have 27 present. Simple majority is 13.5 and 2/3 majority is 18.
thank you. We'll now move into Section 4, messages from the Student Body President. The clerk may read.
Upon recommendation by the Senate and by my authority, the following have been signed and filed as law. AR-68-003, an act to celebrate the sunflower for its national awards. These orders shall be filed with the association's office, added to the record, and it shall become effective upon filing and remain in force until rescinded by the president of the association or following other procedures. These orders shall become executive law and special ordered to remain beyond the session. Executive Order 68-017, creating and appointing the Transfer Student Director position. Whereas the Cabinet shall serve to advise and assist the President in the execution of the will of the Senate and the members of the Association, and to communicate the activities of the executive branch to the Senate. Whereas the President of the Association may create, develop, implement, and appoint any additional members of the Cabinet they deem necessary through executive order, and whereas the Wang Wen administration seeks to enhance support, advocacy, and engagement for transfer students at Wichita State University, ensuring their academic and social success through collaboration with the Office of Student Engagement, Transfer Student Success, and other university partners. Now, therefore, pursuant an authority vested in me as President of the Association by the Constitution and the laws of the Wichita State University Student Government Association, I hereby direct and order the following. Action 1. Create the Transfer Student Director for the Wang Wen administration with the following duties. Number 1, lead outreach and advocacy efforts on behalf of transfer students to ensure they are supported and represented within the Student Government Association and the broader campus community. Number 2, assist transfer students in gaining access to resources and opportunities that foster a smooth transition and promote involvement at Wichita State University. Number 3, collaborate with university offices, departments, and community partners to develop and execute initiatives that enhance the transfer of student experience. Number 4, serve as the primary liaison between Student Government Association and office such as Student Engagement and Transfer Student Success, as well as with recognized transfer student organizations. Number 5, advise the President, Vice President, and the Cabinet on policies, projects, and initiatives that impact transfer students. Number 6, complete any additional assignments as directed by the President and Vice President. Action 2, appoint Caleb White to be the Director of the Transfer Student Experiences. Action 3, direct the central office to notify the Student Senate of this action. This order shall be filed with the Association's office, added to the record. It shall become effective upon filing and remain in force until rescinded by the President of the Association or following other procedures. This order shall become executive law and special ordered to remain beyond the session.
Thank you. We'll now move into Section 5, messages from the Finance Commission. There is none. We will now move into Section 6, financial report from the Student Body Treasurer. Advisor Fonseca.
Hello. Clearly, I'm not the treasurer, but Luke is out sick today, so I'm going to go over the quarter one financial report for the year, or for the student government. So keep in mind, these numbers are 2 weeks old at this point, as we wrapped up the first quarter. Student government budget is designed through the president. That's ultimately approved by the Legislative Council over the summer. And this kind of outlines the opening lines for each of the individual funds and budgets. And then the second column highlights the expenses of to date, and again, that was 2 weeks ago, within the column E showing you the percentage of the budget used. A couple of things that Luke wanted to highlight. The staff salaries fund, as you look at it, SGA funds a couple of FTE positions that support the student government as a whole, that include a grad assistant, student assistants, as well as some full-time staff. And those dollars have already been transferred out into the fund that it goes into, which is why you'll see a significant number there. The second one is the office operations. It's getting close to what was budgeted for. This summer, we replaced all of the laptops within the student government's office as well as computers due to the changes with Microsoft ending the old system that they had and with the new one. So we replaced all of those. And then, of course, the big other one that shows 100% is the appropriations fund, since all of that was spent out when that was approved in August. So overall, we're sitting at 40% of our budget utilized, which in retrospect, as we are today, is not a bad thing as we begin to wrap up for the fall semester as well. And with that, I will stand for any questions if you have any.
And before we go into questions, I uploaded this Excel sheet into the Senate Resources folder within the Legislative Branch Teams channel as well, if you wish to view this Excel sheet for your reference. Are there any questions for Advisor Fonseca? Senator Lee?
So, what happens to the rest of the money that we don't spend?
Great question. So whatever is left at the recess of this session, really up to that fiscal year, that SGA ends its fiscal year, the first week of May, rolls over into SGA's reserve for then the next administration to deal with how they may want to reallocate those dollars from there. The only one that doesn't roll over into the reserves are the Special Projects Fund and the External Projects Fund are the ones that stay there, and those minimums remain in those accounts for the next administration and the next student government to utilize.
Are there any further questions for Advisor Fonseca? Senator Mallard?
With this, we have like 1,000 less than $1 million in special projects, correct?
Yeah, roughly. About $1.5 million, with give or take, yeah.
Are there any more questions for Advisor Fonseca? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into Section 7, 3-minute floor speeches. In lieu of senators using public forum as a mechanism to address the Senate, a senator may seek recognition to give a speech on a subject of their choice, not exceeding 3 minutes in duration. 3-minute speeches are focused on specific topics. Senators may only hold the floor once during this period. Are there any senators that wish to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, we will now move into Section 8, Public Forum. Public forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate, limited to 3 minutes only. This is a time for Senate to listen to what the community has to say, and to that we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that, although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speakers do not reflect the opinions of the association. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in public forum at this time? You have the floor.
Hello, everyone. I'll keep this short. I'm coming to you not as Senator Farwell, but as Vincent Farwell, Vice President of Spectrum. We have our drag pageant coming up on Saturday, November 15th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It is an amateur drag pageant, and I also would like to say it's for amateur audiences too. So if you've never been to a drag show and just kind of want to see how one looks like, yeah, show up. It's going to be in Begg's Ballroom, 7 to 9 p.m. Thank you.
Are you standing for questions?
Yes.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any other individuals who wish to speak in public forum at this time? Seeing none, we'll now move into Section 9, Introductions and Reports, and we'll go to 9.1, Report from the Executive Branch.
Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, Kaylee is out sick today, so I will be giving the report. But within the last few weeks and upcoming, President Wong, alongside a few other members of SGA, will be attending the upcoming Kansas Board of Regents focus group taking place tomorrow. She, Treasurer Bum, and I will also be meeting with Lindsay Pletcher, Executive Director of Budget, to review updated student fee numbers and discuss next steps for the student fees process. Additionally, the cabinet is potentially welcoming 2 new members, graduate advocate Mohammed Abdullah Khan and Director of Transfer Student Experiences Caleb White, who you will hear from tonight. Recruitment for new Supreme Court justices is also underway. I met with a representative from K-State to learn more about their Food Security Scholars Program, and I'm currently working on logistics to explore similar opportunities here at Wichita State. I will also be attending the Swipe Out Hunger meeting next Monday to discuss the Hunger-Free Campus Bill, as well as meeting with Alicia Newell tomorrow to discuss other campus resources. Director of Legislative Affairs and Policy Ahrens has begun planning for Higher Education Day, which is scheduled for early spring. Director of Media Relations Zhang is finalizing graphics for upcoming highlights and senator features. Director of Community Engagement and Outreach, Garcia Alvarez, is preparing for next semester's events and has been meeting with campus partners to confirm event locations, vendors, and logistics. Director of Health and Wellness, Raju, is leading Social Safety Week, which is happening this week. And we have one more final event tomorrow, which is Fresh Start Substance Use Awareness from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. On the first floor of the RSC. Director of Student Organizations, Khan, will be hosting an event planning training on November 17th to support RSOs in improving event coordination and management. Director of International Student Affairs, Safdar, recently attended a Kansas Leadership Center workshop on leadership and free expression. He is currently planning a leadership training session for international RSOs in collaboration with KLC for spring 2026. He also met with the Associate Director of Residential Life and Educational Engagement to enhance the on-campus experience for international students. Upcoming initiatives include a welcome event, a cultural ambassador program, and a cultural night celebration. In addition, Director Safdar is coordinating a tax filing workshop for international students in partnership with the United Way of the Plains and is planning a career development workshop as well. Director of Athletic Engagement Murphy reported the successful completion of the athletics tailgate, which saw 201 sign-ins and over 600 student tickets claimed. He is now working on new resolutions related to athletic engagement and student experience. Discussions with athletics are also underway to plan events for spring 2026. Director of Food Insecurity and Sustainability, Taylor, shared updates from the Shocker Support Locker, which was open for 18 days in October, serving 445 students and gaining 27 new users. She is also currently working on planning next year's events focused on sustainability and food security awareness. Director Guthrie recently finalized the outreach plan and is planning for his upcoming professional development event. Undergraduate Student Advocate Island successfully completed an academic appeal hearing and is currently managing 6 active cases, which can include academic appeals, probation concerns, parking appeals, and financial issues. Before I move on to the next part, does anyone have any questions?
Are there any questions for Vice President Nguyen so far? Seeing none, you may continue.
Sorry. I now give the floor to our new Director of Transfer Student Experiences, Caleb White, to introduce himself.
Good evening. My name is Caleb White. I am a junior transfer student here at Wichita State University, majoring in mechanical engineering. A little bit about me. My core values are keeping God first, putting myself last, and helping anyone I can in between. Before coming to Wichita State, I attended Tuskegee University. There, I was deeply involved in campus life and served as a resident assistant for the first-year students for 2 years, which taught me leadership, communication, and time management skills. Also, this gave me a chance to build community and be a positive role model for new students. I also was a member of the track and field team where I learned discipline, accountability, and the importance of being a team player. During my time on the team, I earned the SIAC Conference All Honors Award and received Athletic Achievement Award for outstanding performance during the 2022 to 2023 and 2023 to 2024 seasons. I'm proud to say that I still hold 2 of the university's all-time records. Here at Wichita State University, I'm still adjusting and finding ways to get involved. I make time to work out in the Heskett Center and maintain my athletic priorities. And I am and I'm in the process of starting a new Bible study group here on campus. That being said, I am passionate about enhancing the transfer student experience here at Wichita State University because transfer students at many universities are often underrepresented and face challenges related to academic success, community, and belonging. I believe that if we can intentionally support transfer students, meeting both their academic and community needs, we can make a huge impact on their experience and position at Wichita State University, and position Wichita State University as the best place, if not the best place, to transfer to. I believe my background and insights can help create initiatives to support transfer student success and strengthen Wichita State's mission and community impact. Thank you for your time. I look forward to working with you all and making a difference. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions? Senator Lewis.
Will you be able to effectively improve transfer student experiences for students who are not religious?
Yes, to answer your question, yes, I will. Religion is everything for me, but I do believe that everybody should be included. So my goal is to help anyone and everyone, regardless of what they believe and how they live their life. Yeah.
Are there any further questions? Senator Otten.
Are there any things that you've seen at Wichita State so far, like that inspire some initiatives that you may have?
To be honest, no, because Wichita State University is a wonderful university. Truth be told, too, like I'm trying to see how I can help. I guess catch up to you guys. So, yeah.
Are there any more questions, Senator Boyd?
When will your Bible studies happen?
So, literally every day. Anytime between 5 and 9 p.m., I'm open every single day.
Are there, and let's try to keep the questions pertinent to SGA. Are there any more questions? Senator Payne?
Can you talk about some of the initiatives that you mentioned in your speech?
So I'm still trying to, I guess, come up with some. Excuse me. This is my first time for doing anything like this, so I apologize. But something that I really think is highly important is for freshman students, whenever they get here on campus, especially in all universities, everything's really tailored toward them, and which not really forces, but helps them already build a community in a sense. And really what I can think of right now is doing the exact same thing for transfer students, making specific activities geared towards transfer students, not only to get them involved with other first-year students, but also students that are of their classification. So yeah.
Are there any more questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
We will now go into 9.2, report from the Speaker of the Senate. So good evening, everyone. I hope your week has been going well so far. I have a few short updates for you all tonight. So for a few reminders for everyone, the SJ Social Safety Week is mandatory, so please refer to the memo regarding absences, or if you cannot make it to all the events as well. If you cannot fulfill the mandatory obligations, I ask that you please fill out the Shocker Sync form by 5 o'clock p.m. on Friday. I will not accept any excuse forms after 5 o'clock p.m. on Friday if you cannot attend any of the 2 minimum or volunteer requirements for the SJ Social Safety Week. In next week's Committee of the Whole meeting, we will be having a discussion regarding initiatives and concerns and thoughts related to our international students on campus, and addressing those concerns in a large Committee of the Whole meeting. So imagine that meeting to be kind of like 4 joint committees in kind of that format. And we'll be breaking out into different groups and having different conversations as well. So I know some of the other committees had a couple brainstorming ideas for this week, so next week be prepared for that discussion as well. I am currently conducting several interviews for different senator applications, so if you know anyone that is interested in applying for Senate, please encourage them to apply on Shocker Sync through the general application for SGA. I have scheduled one-on-one meetings with all of our midterm senators, so if you did not see an email from me or a calendar invite from me, please talk to me after Senate, and I can send those communication out as well. For tonight's agenda, we have 5 pieces of legislation up for Senate review. So we have SB-68-116, enact to institute bylaws for the Wichita State Community Garden for a second read, and that threshold is simple majority vote. We have SB-68-124 for a Finance Commission appointment for Adult Learners Commissioner. That will be on the consent agenda. And if someone objects to the consent agenda, that will be simple majority vote. We also have AR-68-004, which is a association resolution recalling all the student fee entities for fiscal year 27 budget hearings. That will be its first and final read, and I have deemed that timely, which is why that only requires 1 read, and that is a 2/3 simple majority vote. We also have SB-68-125 for appointment for the graduate student advocate position. That is an appointment bill, so that will be a 2/3 simple majority vote as it is a advocate position as well. Additionally, we will have SB-68-126, a first read for an act to establish bylaws for a committee pro temp position. So that will be its first read and referred to committee next week as well. And then also next week will be a second read. Additionally, for the consent agenda, in addition to the appointment to the Finance Commission, we have 2 meeting minutes up for approval as well. Additionally, for me, I am currently catching up on transferring files and responding to emails. But if you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me at my email or reach out to me via GroupMe as well. That's all I have for my report for this week. Are there any questions for me? Senator Parker?
You said that we're, for the consent agenda, we're looking to approve 2 meeting minutes, but there are 3 on the document.
Yes, that's a mistake. My mistake. There should be 2 on there. And it's the 2 that's uploaded within the Teams. Are there any further questions? Senator Otten?
I also see that in the new business for the pro temp position, it says that it's deferred to the Government Oversight Committee. That is who is bringing it to Senate. So I was wondering if, just for some clarification on that.
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. So I'm deferring it to the Government Oversight for its committee read next week, as well as there are a couple amendments or discussions that I'd like the committee to have before presenting it to Senate. But I'm also making the Senate second read that same meeting as well, because I don't anticipate that much time will be spent in Government Oversight on that. But I did do that on purpose. Are there any further questions for me? Okay, seeing none. We will now go into 9.3, report from the Senate chairpersons, and we will go to Academic Affairs Chairperson Kasir Safar.
Good evening, everyone. The Academic Affairs Committee has made a strong progress this week on the plus or minus grading system. We received approval regarding the student survey, allowing us to move forward with the next step. Our team is now finalizing the communication material that will go out with the survey. This includes the script for our social media post that will be posted on the SGA website to help students understand why we are advocating for the addition of the A+ option in the grading scale. Once these materials are approved, the survey will go out to the students. I will keep everyone updated as we finalize the rollout. I now stand for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Kasir so far? We'll go to Senator Mallard.
Can you also briefly talk about the FERPA resolution that we agreed on in session?
Yeah, good point. And then we also have legislation that has been sent out to Speaker Juan regarding adding the FERPA to the syllabus. So that's it. Thank you for that.
Are there any more questions for Chairperson Kasir so far? Senator Hatch?
Yeah, do you know how the A+ rating would be like weighted against the GPA scale? Like, would that be higher than a 4? Or are we like reducing the value of a regular A?
Thank you for that question. So that's a question that we have to ask the registrar office, but my idea is that it's going to be, the A plus system is going to be higher. So the GPA, the A should be like 4.0, and then A plus, I'm assuming it's like 4.33. But that's the question that we have to finalize with the registrar office after we send out the survey.
Are there any more questions for Chairperson Kasir so far? We'll go to Chairperson Peng.
I'm assuming you might have to ask this to the registrar office too, but with this grading scale, how will it impact students who are applying to health professions programs as well as, example, nursing, dental hygiene? How will that kind of factor in with it?
So I'm not sure regarding that, but I have to get with the registrar office to, did you want to? Yeah, I will hand out to Dr.
Senator Peng, I think the last couple of times that student government has had this conversation, it went to Faculty Senate for their support as well. And so a lot of those discussions will be had in that space with their with the Faculty Senate's equivalent of the Academic Affairs Committee, as well as in conversations that come, because I know the survey asked some very specific questions of students to provide feedback to. And so I think I would imagine that those discussions will happen at the department level of the college for whatever of our colleges have those programs where you know they have to apply to social work, some of those other ones as well. If this is adopted and Faculty Senate supports it and endorses it, then I would imagine that those would be the following questions that will come up, and that the departments that have the impact will then have to make that adjustment. I know that was one of the sticking points to the last time that the Senate presented this, or that student government presented this, but it wasn't an impossible point for those areas to find out, because it doesn't impact everybody, it just impacts those that have those professional programs that they'll then address in those spaces.
Are there any further questions for Chairperson Kasir so far? Senator Timms.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, who are we sending the survey out to? Like, how many students, and who's determining like who gets sent the survey?
So I believe we are going to send out to all the students on campus, as well as we are just gonna post that on SGA website, so students can have access to it.
And also to clarify from our end, we're planning to put on the legislative branch's side of the newsletter, and we're going to work with the executive branch and how we're going to market it moving forward as well. Are there any further questions? Senator Miller.
Do we know if grades will be retroactively reweighted, or would it just be any grades attributed moving forward?
I believe it's going to be grades moving forward.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Diversity, Empowerment, Inclusion, Chairperson Peng.
Hi, everyone. For committee updates, we continue our discussion regarding the gender-neutral bathroom initiatives, as well as a possible funding initiative related to the government shutdown. For agency updates, Spectrum has its drag pageant on the 15th at 7 p.m. in the Beggs Ballroom, as you heard Senator Farwell talk about it, with the theme being summer camp. If you have any questions about that, please contact me or Senator Farwell so we can kind of give you more details. ASC had a fundraiser yesterday selling butter chicken and mango lassi. Halo is currently hosting its Zumba night at the Campus Y until, I guess, 8 p.m. And BSU had a bonfire this past week where they provided free s'mores. Friendsgiving is coming up on November 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. This is an event hosted by ASC, Halo, and BSU where students can join in on games, conversation, and good food. If you are interested, please sign up via Instagram link or contact me and I can get you to the right person for that event. And that is all for me. I stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Peng? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Government Oversight Chairperson Tawana.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? So regarding this week's committee, regarding this week, I've been working on reviewing ISU bylaws, which with chairperson, not chairperson, speaker Fawn to finalize with them, as we have a meeting coming up with Director Amy to finalize the ISU bylaws. Other than that, as a committee, we finalize the pro temp legislation. We will see if it needs any amendment after today's first read. Other than that, today we discussed regarding redistributing Senate seats. So we're still working on improving LAS seats for LAS because they have a lot of students compared to other schools. So we'll be continuing working on that in next week. Other than that, for the upcoming week's Committee of the Whole, we have discussed 4 different initiatives. One is a mentorship program for international students, a pre-arrival communication platform for international students, and a temporary housing option in shocker flats during the summer when they are empty, and also introduction of halal food on campus during WSU events, and possibly having a halal restaurant option in RSC. So that what we plan on discussing next week's Committee of the Whole. Do you have any questions? I'll stand up for questions.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Tawana? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Student Services Chairperson Hansen.
Hi, everyone. My report is short tonight. My committee is continuing discussions regarding the presentation dining services presented last week, especially with how we can best address the communication issues that are impacting student needs. We have also had talks about various parking issue concerns we've received, and my committee members are still hard at work on their personal initiatives.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Chairperson Hansen? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from the central office.
Good evening, everyone. Just 2 things. One, we have finalized the appointments for the new Elections Commission. We'll be bringing them to one of the meetings soon for you all to meet them. And then as well, in my role as a central office, I'm required to announce to the Senate about changes within Senate membership. Senator Spathros has submitted and Speaker Fawn has accepted his resignation from the Senate. This brings the Senate membership down to 32 and opens an Applied Studies Senate seat. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Advisor Fonseca? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into section 10, the consent agenda. For approval on the consent agenda is the October 22nd and November 5th Senate meeting minutes, in addition to the appointment to the Finance Commission. Are there any objections to the consent agenda? Seeing none, it is adopted as such. Before we move into section 11, pending business, I will hand the chair over to Vice President Lin.
The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-116, an act to institute bylaws for the Wichita State Community Garden.
Is the author here and wish to speak? You have the floor.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So for the bylaw amendments to the community garden, no amendments were made within the Government Oversight Committee. I know they were having some discussions about some potential amendments to the gardens, and I'm open to those amendments as well. I am going to answer any questions that you all may have for me.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move into the debate period. Senator Mallard.
I'd like to propose an amendment, amendments. And those amendments are in the teams for you guys to see. And Gabriel, I sent that to you as well. Real quick, so the amendments that I am proposing are adding a section for just policy use of what you can do in the garden, as well as adding a community assistant just title as And when a student is working on the garden for a while and then they graduate, we don't have a way to basically have them, I mean, like, quote unquote, still working in that position. And after talking with one of the main people right now who is working on the garden, we thought it'd be a good idea to propose a community assistant where they can still be in the community, not a student, and still be representing the garden and doing a vast majority of the work that is then outlined in the policy stuff. I will stand for a question. Oh, well, I guess we have to have a second first.
Do I have a second? Second by Senator Hansen. We will now move into the debate period for this motion. Would anyone wish to speak? Okay. Senator Hatch.
I was just curious if you'd also be interested in adding language that no students can use any of the produce from the garden for profit, like picking them and then going and trying to sell them themselves.
Am I okay to make a friendly amendment?
Yes.
Friendly amendment to add V. Individuals may not harvest produce from the garden for profit. Does that sound good?
Riley, are you okay with this amendment? Okay. We will now go back into the debate for the motion. Would anyone like to speak in this debate? Senator Otten.
I was wondering if I can ask a question, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering what all the community assistant would be a part of, and if that position would be paid, or kind of what that position would look like.
So from my understanding, all this is based off of what the governance coordinator and chair of sustainability determined. So if they wanted it to be paid, then they can figure that out. But if they didn't want it to be paid, then it didn't have to be paid, because we don't actually state in here that they're being paid as a student assistant, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, the reasoning for this is because, in my rules, I'm stating that individuals may not remove or damage current crops, flowers, all those things. The reasoning for this is, for example, if we're doing like maintenance on the garden, we want to make sure that certain plants aren't inhibiting others, or students don't just come in and rip out like a carrot plant because they want a potato. But with someone who's been working on the garden for years and then they graduate or leave and they still want to do work, technically, if we were to pass this, we would have to tell them, hey, you really can't come in and do this large-scale maintenance. You can't come in and basically build a trellis and rip out a certain plant that is inhibiting the tomatoes or the cucumbers or whatever.
Would anyone else wish to speak? Senator Lay.
How are we going to go about enforcing this? And the provisions for the various aspects of this bill?
Senator Mallard.
Real quick, if I may as well. I know we are wanting to make signage, so we do want to post signs in the gardens so that people are aware of what we're allowed to do, but I'll let Dr. Fon say.
Enforcement of anything in the bylaws that is adopted is the executive job. In this case, there's also staff attached to this program. So staff in the executive branch would be responsible for enforcing policy as best as possible.
Would anyone else wish to speak? Senator Farwell.
Would staff also be responsible for deciding disciplinary action?
Correct.
Senator Mallard.
Also, like, if someone was to do this, I don't anticipate them to, code of conduct and they get like kicked out of the university. It's just a thing of saying, hey, you cannot do this. Since a community garden, in the terms of a community garden, it's for the community. So anyone is allowed to use it. And we also can't enforce policy on someone outside of WSU. So if someone from a random school was to come up and want to use the garden, we really, quote unquote, can't enforce it. But that's why we would have this, after this, we are going to work on proposing signage to create and possibly fund so that we have that out there so that people can see what we're allowed to do in a garden.
Would anyone else wish to speak? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period for this motion. This motion is adopted as such. We will now move back into the original item. Would anyone wish to speak in the debate for the original item? Senator Lay,
Motion to pass with unanimous consent.
are there any objections? Seeing none, this legislation is adopted as such. I will now hand the chair back over to Speaker Fawn.
Thank you. We'll now move into section 12, new business. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve AR-68-004, recalling all student fee entities for fiscal year 27 budget hearings.
Is the author here ready to speak? You'll have the floor.
Sorry, I'm a little shorter. Good evening, Senators. As Advisor Fonseca mentioned earlier, Treasurer Bum couldn't make it tonight due to illness, so I am presenting you all this bill instead. So to kind of explain a little bit more about student fees operates on a biannual cycle, meaning that student fee entities only present in front of the Finance Commission on an every other year basis. This is split up into two groups, Year A and Year B. Year A includes student engagement and belonging, campus recreation, varsity esports, educational opportunity funds, graduate school, College of Fine Arts, Child Development Center, and the Office of Student Accommodations and Testing. Year B includes student health services, counseling and psychological services, student affairs assessment and retention, the Sunflower Student Government Association, Radigan Student Center, and approved bond payments. Last session, when Finance Commission reviewed student fee entities for fiscal year 26, it was discovered that there was a $900,000 shortfall. In response, the Finance Commission requested for the student government to invoke Chapter 5 of the Student Fees Statute in order to call back all student fee entities to address the shortfall equitably rather than placing the financial constraints on half of the student fee entities. The Senate voted to approve that request, which was granted at the time by the former student body president. Since then, all student fee entities have been receiving allocations based on this shortfall. For the upcoming fiscal year 27, headcount enrollment numbers have leveled and projections thus far are positive. On behalf of SGA leadership, we are requesting the Senate to grant the Finance Commission the authority to invoke Chapter 5 rules to recall all student service fee entities to present before the Finance Commission during the upcoming fiscal year 2027 budget hearings in March to ensure fiscal responsibility in the next coming years for these entities. I will stand for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for President Wong? Senator Haynes?
Yeah, so because they go every other year, and last year you recalled them, this year you're recalling them again, does that in any way interfere with the cycle at all, or no?
So actually this year it would have been year B, so next year it would just reset at year A, and then from there on it would actually work out as the every other cycle.
Are there any further questions? As a reminder, this is his first and final read, so if you have questions, ask them now. Okay, seeing none, thank you. We will now go into the debate period for this item. As a reminder, this legislation requires a 2/3 simple majority vote, and this is his final read. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll now go into the voting period for this item. Voting period is now open. Okay, so with 26 yes, 0 no, 1 abstention, this legislation passes. We will now move into 12.2. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-125, appointing Mohammed Abdullah Khan as graduate student advocate.
Is the author here ready to speak? You have the floor.
Hello again. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce Abdullah Khan. Abdullah is a graduate student pursuing his master's in computer science. Abdullah is a passionate individual in advocating for the graduate student experience. He wants to improve the graduate student experience by providing a safe space for students to share their concerns, targeting events for graduate students to build community, and experimenting with different strategies to engage with the graduate student population. Motivated by creating personal connections, Abdullah Khan is more than willing to work through collaboration to tailor guidance to each individual student. I will now yield the rest of my time to Abdullah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abdullah Khan. I am a graduate student studying computer science. And a little background about myself. I was born in a big city back home, Karachi, Pakistan. That's where I'm originally from. But I grew up and spent my whole life in the United Arab Emirates, as most of you may know it as Dubai. And yeah, I've lived in big cities around, tall skyscrapers. So moving to Wichita was definitely new to me, but it's good and refreshing. I love it here. It's great. And one of my biggest academic goals starting as a graduate student was being able to graduate with a 4.0 GPA. And so far, hopefully, I am on track to achieving that. And the reason for this is because I grew up thinking I would always be an athlete my whole life, because that's what my whole life revolved around. I attended college on a sports scholarship. I was the captain of my varsity basketball team, but unfortunately, injuries and, that's where it went downhill. So now I'm here studying computer science, completing my graduate school. And so more specifically about the role graduate advocate, I believe that I am the best candidate for this role because students need to have a voice, and more specifically graduate students. Having spent 1 year as a graduate student here already at WSU, I've experienced lack of communication and did not know about many of the resources provided by WSU for students. And this was mainly my motivation towards applying for this role, so I could listen to students, whether it may be one-on-one sessions or public sessions that we could host specifically for graduate students. So then for them to voice their opinions and see how we could possibly help them and even implement the feedback that we get if plausible. Other than that, I plan on hopefully contributing towards hosting events for not only graduate students, maybe for the whole WSU community, such as networking events, because I believe this is something you carry on for the rest of your life, and it makes you successful. And other than that, I want to promote health and mental health as well. Maybe some sort of like health and fitness sort of activities every now and then to keep the students' minds, fresh and, and good and happy. So lastly, I believe graduate students need an advocate, and I'm willing to step up, take that role, and be the voice for the students. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you. Are there any questions for our nominee? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go into the debate period for this item. As a reminder for this piece of legislation, as this is appointing an advocate, it requires a 2/3 simple majority vote. Are there any individuals who wish to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period.
The voting period is now open.
Okay, with 25 yes, 0 no, and 2 abstention, this legislation passes. We will now move into 12.3.
Act on request to approve SB-68-126, an act to establish the committee pro temp position within the standing committees of the Student Senate.
Is the author here ready to speak? You have the floor.
Hi again, everyone. So for this bill is to basically introduce language for pro temp in our STA bylaws, as we've had pro temp positions for quite a few sessions now, but there is no formal language in our bylaws. So based on that, we will introduce this in Article 1, Chapter 5, Committee Pro Temp position. This chapter will have 5 sections. One is establishing the term as pro temp, and pro temp will be based on these bylaws, will be appointed by the chairperson among the current members of the committee. So, and a simple majority of vote of the Senate would approve this appointment. Other than that, rules of the and responsibility of the pro temp will be preside over committee meetings in the absence of a chairperson, present reports to the Senate on behalf of the chairperson in case the chairperson is unavailable, and maintain meeting minutes and be a point of contact between committee members when delegated by the chairperson. Section 4, in case of the chairperson resigns during session or the chairperson graduates in, let's say, the fall semester, and in order to cater for the spring semester, the pro temp will take over as the acting chairperson with the approval of the Speaker of the Senate, unless the Speaker deems fit to continue the pro temp as the chairperson for the remaining of the session, or Speaker appoints a new pro temp for the new chairperson for the position, and pro temp can step down in that time. And in case of removal and appeal, the pro temp can be, if the pro temp is unable to perform the assigned duties or breach the code of conduct, the pro temp would be removed by a chairperson with the approval of the Speaker of the Senate, and the pro temp would have 5 business days to give a written notice to appeal this in Supreme Court if they deem their removal has been unnecessary. If anyone have any questions, I'll ask for questions.
Are there any questions for the author? Okay, seeing none. Thank you. This legislation has been referred to the government oversight for next week as well, and next week will also be its second and final read in Senate. We will now, before we go into section 13, adjournment, we will do our closing roll call. Please click on your clickers to sign out for our final closing roll call. Okay, before we go to adjournment, as a reminder, please leave your clickers on the table. Do not take them with you. We will be collecting the clickers afterwards as well. But with that, we will move into section 13, adjournment. The Student Government Association Student Senate will stay on adjournment until Wednesday, November 19th at 7:30 p.m. I adjourn this meeting at 8:30 p.m.